How are you, my people? Manchester United has gone ahead to sign a 17-year-old midfielder who is highly rated from the side of South America. And that is where football has obviously gone ahead to come from. If at all you've been following up on very many people from South America, they are really exquisite and they're really that nice. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And this is Rock and David onto the United Matters channel, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. Now, yesterday a story was broken and it was really huge into the news that Man United have gone ahead obviously bring in a player. And guess who broke the story? It was known to that usual source that most of you might obviously know, but it is really one of those credible sources that you have to obviously come up and really give a very huge big up, because they went ahead and broke the story. Pipe Sierra in there for you. He works for Fanatiz TV and W Radio Colombia. He came up and obviously broke the story to the world, and he said that Manchester United have reached an agreement in principle to sign a defensive midfielder known as Cristian Orozco, who is 17 years of age from Rojo FC. He will sign when he turns 18, meaning that an agreement in principle has obviously gone ahead to be reached. And they've gone ahead to obviously see to it that the player is 17, and when he turns 18, he's obviously going to be signing for the club of Manchester United in there. Jacobs Ben, one of the tier 1 journalists from England, has told us too that Man United have agreed a deal to sign Colombia under-17 international Cristian Orozco when he turns 18. The defensive midfielder captained Colombia as they reached the final of the Under-17 South American Championship last spring. So, he is such a player. I've seen his clips, and for me, when I see these clips, I don't really mind about what they put together. My total attention is on the following things. 1, fast touch. Press resistance, passing. That's where my attention is always on. But when you look at this youngster, he is one of those midfielders that really need industrious, he's a workaholic, and he is really physical. When you look at his body weight at the age of 17, it just shows that it's going to turn into a monster. When I look at him and his size and height, I feel like he might turn out to be that Yaya Toure size. And Man United has obviously lacked players who play in such positions when they really put in a lot of effort. One of the things we demand our midfielders, the workaholicism. How we really go ahead and obviously get into those spaces and close them down. That's the problem of Manchester United. But Man United has obviously gone ahead to put in a very huge shift, and they're like, let's get in this youngster and see how he can obviously thrive into that midfield. And remember, Man United is really focusing on really bringing in midfielders, and we might see him really getting to the starting 11 of Manchester United, provided he is that good. Because Sekou Kone has failed to obviously get into the starting 11 for the club of Manchester United. You understand? That is Sekou Kone for you into the mix. So, as it stands right now, I want to confirm to you that the player is in, but he will obviously have to do a lot of things to keep himself into this Man United side, as others are really failing, and United obviously going to be bringing in 1 or 2 midfielders during the summer transfer window. You understand? Baleba was one of those that we are looking at, but with his drop in form at Brighton, I don't really expect Man United to obviously go ahead and really still put in a lot of effort to sign the player, as he's no longer that kind of player who can play into who can really go in for £100 million plus. That is it. Now, this lad can also play as a box-to-box midfielder, and that's what I really want. As you saw Chelsea go in for Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Lavia, and Andre Santos, those three can really play as defensive midfielders, and they can play as box-to-box midfielders, and that's what United needs to obviously go in for, to get in players who are in that ilk, who can obviously come in through and really play as defensive midfielders and can play as box-to-box midfielders into the mix. He's 1.7 meters tall for now, and you know that anyone stops growing in height at the age of 25, meaning that he still has huge space in there for him to obviously operate. So Man United have gotten themselves another monstrous midfielder, and Jacobs Ben today has appeared onto the United stand, and this is what he had to say about this new signing for the club of Manchester United. He said it was a move driven by Christopher Vivell, and more broadly, there is a desire from the Manchester hierarchy to break into new and, to some extent, emerging markets. Obviously, Caicedo is one of those that is a living example. Manchester United came up and obviously put in a very huge shift as far as wanting to sign Mos Caicedo was really concerned. If you've been following up, in 2020, you saw how things really went ahead to happen. And United were considering to get in Moise Caicedo, but we never really went ahead to obviously see that deal happen. At less than 10 million euros, would have gone to get in Moise Caicedo. And I think if Man United were really one of those sides that had a board and a footballing side like this, they would have gone ahead to put in a very huge shift and really got in this player and maybe loaned him to a certain club. We've seen clubs do that, but Man United never really developed that in their model. But I think this time round, we need to do that, get in very many players, and after getting in very many of those players, we will see them come through to the club of Manchester United after representing. Now, this move has been driven by Christopher Vivell. Christopher Vivell, working in for RB Leipzig, he has very many contacts and scouts that don't even work for Manchester United, because he's in the structure that really had Ralf Rangnick, So if you are really having people like Ralf Rangnick in there, that means they obviously school you on how you are supposed to obviously get in those players as up. You understand? So as it stands, the side of Manchester United is using Christopher Vivell to obviously get in these players, and I know that a player like him can obviously get into the team of Manchester United. Look at a player like Santos, Andre Santos at Chelsea. He was signed from Brazil straight into Chelsea. They loaned him to France, I think, for 1 or 2 seasons. And now he's one of those complete midfielders that the entire world is talking about. So I think even if he doesn't break into the starting 11 for the club of Manchester United, Cristian Orozco should be taken to a club to see to it that he does the needful. Though Man United has a habit, like they're doing to a player known as Diego Leon. What they're doing is simple. They are really getting in this player to play in the academy, such that he's really being seen as a homegrown player by the time he makes his debut. So I think for Man United, they will be doing that. But he's really a very good player, and his physique is not really questioned. Orozco, I think it's Orozco, is a defensive midfielder, 17 years at the moment, and he'll join Manchester United when he turns 18. He's a player for the future, but has a lot of attributes to like right now. He's tenacious, fast, a ball winner, and can take into the pockets of space, and can get into those pockets of space. Now, tenacity is what I was referring to when I referred to that player being a player who really works hard. And this is the lad who goes by the names of Orozco. You understand? So United is going to bring in him. He's a ball winner, and he can get into those pockets of space. That's really very awesome of him. Jacobs Ben has told us that a lot of people like to compare him to Makelele. On the one hand, that's a huge compliment, but on the other hand, the new number 6 is far from Makelele, is far more than Makelele was. They don't just drop deep, they burst forwards as well. And what you will see from him is an explosive turn of pace from him and a very quick speed of mind and progressive passing, in addition to all other attributes you associate with the number 6. Now, the lad is that special, and we wait to see more developments from this deal. And amongst the top tiers in Europe, it's only Jacobs Ben that has gone ahead to drop a hint about this deal. Now we wait and see whether this deal obviously come to pass and whether the player will obviously come in through at the club of Manchester United. You understand? So thank you very much for watching through. Rock and David is my name. Tell me your thoughts about United signing Cristian Orozco from I think Colombia, and he's coming in through from Manchester United, and he's really one of those talents that we need to bring in through. Though signing in such players is really good, but we need to focus so much more on really bringing in a CDM. As I told you at the beginning of the season that the lad we need is a CDM, and now we are really bringing in young CDMs. So we need to save this club from that central defensive midfield position. When the Nemanja Matic came in through, it got solved, you understand? But ever since he left, we've gone ahead to bring in players, very many in that position, but Man United hasn't solved it. Casemiro came in through, but he was was he 29? He was a 29-year-old player, and now I think he's really grown. He cannot match the intensity of the Premier League. Your reactions to that are welcome in the comment section below. Way out.